All right, I'm gonna make some homemade spaghetti with our homemade tomato sauce, with our homemade grown tomatoes from our garden this past summer. But because we put citric acid in it, I'm gonna put it in a bowl. I'm gonna add a bit of baking soda. Just to cut the acid. I'm gonna mix this in. It's like a science project. It's gonna start to bubble and cut that acid. Look at that. Bubble and foam. Nathan knows that we put this in and everything, but he was so excited to do it one time, he put it in while it was still in the jar. And it just went all over the counter and onto the floor. He thought it was the coolest thing. He called it a volcano. So I'm just gonna set this off to the side and we'll start browning our meat. That's our meat. I'm gonna turn on the stove. I'm gonna put just a little bit of the measured steak seasoning in it. Start mushing this up and get it to being browned up. By then, our science experiment should be done fizzing, and then we will add it to it. And I forgot to tell you, take a small onion, chop it up, and what other better way to brown it than in the little bit of meat fat that you have in here. We get the 90 or 91%, whichever one we can find, or get the better deal on. The sauce, as you see, is not yellowish orange anymore. It is back to red. So we'll put that in there. I'll get a spatula in a minute and clean that out. Marry this all in here. I almost, well, I spooged there, but I almost spooged big. All right. All right, I'm gonna take some of our basil that we dehydrated. I'm gonna take some celery that we dehydrated. Oregano that we dehydrated. Love garlic, so big handful of garlic that we also dehydrated. We grew some kale. Nathan, my son, loves to go outside and just pick the leaves off and eat it. But we had all this kale still left over. And I didn't want it to go to waste for when it froze and we got a whole bunch of feet of snow recently. So we dehydrated what was left. So I'm gonna put some in there. And then everybody in my family loves mushrooms. So put like a good helping of some dehydrated mushrooms in there. So whenever the mushrooms are on sale at the grocery store, I buy them and I fill the dehydrator up. And this will sit and just simmer on low for a while. And of course you boil some noodles and this will be your lovely sauce that goes on top of it. So just kind of simmer this until all your dehydrated stuff rehydrates. Sometimes I have to add another jar because it gets a little thick. And it looks like I might have to do that to this one. But I'll let you know. This time it doesn't look like I'm gonna need a whole bunch of extra sauce, so I'm not gonna reopen one jar just to use like half or a quarter of it. So I'm gonna pour in some water, but still to keep the tomato, I'm gonna use some of the dehydrated tomato skins that we used from when we made the sauce. So if you don't know that, when you're making sauce, don't throw out your skins. Put them on your dehydrator, or if you have a freeze dryer, put them on the freeze dryer and put them in a jar and suck out all the air and keep that powder in case you need to make tomato paste or just a little extra in your tomato sauce. All right, Nathan's already chowing down before I could get the camera out. Like that.
Okay.
All right. You got yours, Madison? Oh, all right. Thumbs up, dude. Yeah.
Sideways.
She likes hers so she could dip it in the sauce. But she always makes the best biscuits. They are so cheesy and so garlicky. Yeah.